the world affairs commentator Marco Vicenzino is here to tell us more. Marco, oil accounted for nearly half of the nominal GDP in Saudi Arabia in 2013. It's often very lucrative, obviously, but it's hardly the most stable of products. How important is it for this economy to diversify itself more?
It's essential that the Saudi economy diversifies. I mean, for years, Saudi Arabia has been the world's largest exporter of oil. But in recent years, it's become the largest consumer of oil. 25% of its own production is for internal consumption. So I think as a result, the diversification is necessary. And even at the highest levels recently, the Saudi oil minister, Ali Naimi, made it clear. He spoke about a phase-out of Saudi Arabia, phase out from fossil fuels by the middle of the century. Whether that can be done, that's debatable. But already the establishment is speaking about from becoming an global dominant oil player to a global dominant player in solar and wind energy.
Marco, despite all you say, the Saudi Central Bank announced that the recent slump in oil prices had not hurt the country's economy. Do you believe that?
Well, listen, obviously if money is not coming in, it does have a negative impact, but you have to look at it from a short-term and long-term perspective. Over the past decade, with the commodity boom, Saudi coffers have been full. However, they're spending enormously on defense and they're spending enormously on infrastructure. And in addition, what I would say is that what it does is that if the price of oil remains low for far too long, it'll definitely have an impact. But I think when they're doing this thing in more long-term in the sense is they're protecting their market share and they're increasing the amount of exports more than in the past decade.
Analysts have pointed to the underemployment of the female population as being one factor in terms of why the economy is struggling. What kind of a role can women play in Saudi's economy, given how limited their role in society is there?
Clearly, economic indicators point to the fact that whenever women participate in an economy, it's a big game changer. And Saudi Arabia is no different. The problem with Saudi Arabia here is that although they spend enormously on education, to have an enormous educated female population, one has to always also run into the fact that it's a society deeply rooted in tradition and in hierarchy. Change takes place slow, and if change does take place in the long term, it will be more by necessity than by choice.
There's also the airstrikes, obviously, going on in Yemen, which would obviously affect the economy as well. But for now, Marco, thank you very much indeed.